Well, hello YouTube community. We're quickly approaching 1,000 subscribers, which is a pretty humble number, but compared to a lot of these YouTube channels out there. But I'm just tickled that you're part of my YouTube community and that you've chosen to join in and view some of the vintage tech videos. Lots of stuff about ham radio, lots of stuff about portable reel-to-reel tape recorders and espionage tape recorders and recording devices, vintage television and radio, and other obscure electronic, particularly vintage electronic projects. I just wanted to say hello, and before we jump into this video of the latest tape recorder that I have added to my collection, just a little inexpensive reel-to-reel tape deck, and I did a little repair on that, and I'm going through the steps of how I repaired the video. Occasionally get comments and questions about the process of repair. And I know if you're like me, I watch a lot of repair videos, Shango 66, Mr. Carson's Lab, and look at those channels and just really enjoy watching how they repair and the techniques that they use to troubleshoot and repair electronics. And my niche is reel-to-reel tape recorders, but of course, you know, if you are a strong YouTube viewer, that there are a number of other really great tape and audio and TV repair channels out there. So I don't take your presence here for granted, and I do appreciate the fact that you spend some time watching these videos. I don't get any monetary benefit from this channel. Probably never will, and that's not the purpose of this channel. It's really just to share my love for the hobby, and I enjoy tinkering with electronics, and the reel-to-reel tape recorders are just a very simple, non-threatening environment. You don't have to invest a lot of money in these tape recorders. You can get them for $20 to $30 and very little cost to repair them. And it tests your troubleshooting skills. So that's what this channel is really about. It's about vintage tech, vintage technology by a vintage technologist. And so again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the channel. Hope you enjoy this short video repair on this little tape recorder. Okay, I got a lot of stuff going on here on the bench. As you can see, I've got an old Radiola 1925 radio on the bench, and have discovered a bad interstage audio transformer, so I've got one coming that I'll be able to rewire for this transformer. But I just picked up another Mayfair on eBay for a really good price, and it's a real pretty little reel-to-reel tape deck, multi-speed. Got a built-in microphone, which is kind of neat. Don't have one like this, quite like this. And I've got the back off of it. The battery terminals were pretty corroded, so I cleaned those, and as you can see, the unit will transport, works on play, doesn't work on rewind. We'll fix that. But there's no audio, and so we probably have some open or maybe shorted capacitors here. So I'm going to pull this little audio board off, and we'll take a look at it a little bit closer. I'll do a little bit of troubleshooting and see if we can get this little rim drive tape recorder going again and recording. So that's the plan. And so let's zoom in a little closer here and pull this audio board up. The microphone is removable, and it does have an external mic. No, it doesn't have an external microphone connection, just an earphone. So we'll pop the batteries out and take this circuit board up. Never been pulled off before, doesn't appear. It's got the original sealant on the screws. So let's see here what this looks like. Let me get the camera centered on the view here. Here we go. So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3 capacitors is all, and 4 transistors. I mean, there's a capacitor right here on the switch that eliminates some of the pop when you snap the switch. I didn't see any disconnected wires on the volume control or anything. It all looks good. So I've done so many of these. Like I say, I've done about 80 of these or more, 80 or 90, and invariably it's a capacitor issue. There's sometimes a transistor, and we might have a transistor issue here, but usually we have a shorted or an open transistor. So let's just go ahead and make that assumption right off the bat. We could take the time to try to troubleshoot, but we're only talking about 3 caps, so in this case it's not that big of a deal to pop those out and replace them. It'll take me 10 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back and see what progress we've made. Alrighty, replace the caps. It didn't take long, 10 minutes. And there's 3 capacitors. 2 of them had an ESR of over 140 ohms. So that means basically that they were shot. And alright, so we have a tape that does have audio on it, because I tried this tape on another machine and it does have audio. So let's see if we picked anything up here. Well, I get the okay, you're going to laugh at me, but I don't see a speaker. I do not see a speaker. I see the grill for a speaker, but I don't see a speaker in the set. So maybe this serves as a microphone and speaker, huh? What do you think? So let's back up here for just a second. Now this says microphone, but honestly, if there is a speaker in here, it's so tiny you can't even see it. I'm looking down underneath this board. It would be right here if it's anywhere. Right here, right? And these are not vents. They are blocked. So this must be a speaker and microphone. So let's see, since we replaced the caps, let's just see if we have any audio. And we do. It's not terribly loud. Right, this may be the tape, so let's let it move ahead here.
Okay, you dumb tape. Why don't you record that something better? I'm not satisfied at all. Get Becky Lusberg to do it.
Right, that's volume is full volume, but there again, we may just have a poor recording.
Okay, just who do you think you are? Something pretty cool, I gather?
Right, so that's really important stuff I don't want to record over, or not. Alright, now that's louder. Alright, that's so loud I can't even understand it. Now I'm recording, and I've got the volume set where the little sticker says it needs to be set, and I'm talking right into the microphone, and we're going to see what kind of recording we have on this tape. Alright, let's rewind it. We just don't quite have rewind working good. Oop, 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 oop. Easy does it. Okay. Well, that was simple enough. So we had two bad caps, and one of them was borderline. And so this says microphone on it, but it's a microphone slash speaker. That's pretty cool. Never seen that on a tape recorder like this before. Not only have I not found a mic in all of my whatever 80 plus tape decks here. Let me let you take a look at some of them. In all of these, there's a bunch of them, all of these, and there's a few more across the top here, but I've never seen just a built-in microphone that works as a speaker. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we do have a transport issue because rewind just doesn't quite cut it. See, it's trying, but we got an issue with the mechanics of rewind. So let's pull the tape out. We got our audio working, so that's cool. We didn't have to use the audio signal generator. And let's see, we got to pull 4 or 5 screws up that hold the whole chassis onto the plastic face, and they just are coming loose by hand. At least those studs are. And I know there's one more here and one more up front here. This will just lift right off. Make sure I've got you on the camera. There we go. Yeah, this will just lift right off. And we can see the drive and what condition it's in. Doesn't look too good. Let's bring the camera in. Alright, got a great big notch right there. See that? That's why it's getting caught. So when we do a rewind right there, it gets stuck right there. So we got a notch here, and I don't know if you can see it, the notch right there. So this is going to go around and go clunk, 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 and it does. See the motor bumping up and down? Bump, 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 bump. Right there's the notch. This is a rubber tire that is mounted underneath this plastic. So we could fix that by grinding it off in the lathe like I've done on so many other videos. But this one, I don't know. Let's see what condition this tire is in. Maybe we can fill that. I'm sorry, get back on camera there. Maybe we can fill that hole with some putty of some kind, and grinding this down is going to have to take a lot of tire off to get that flat spot out. So what we'll do is put putty over that one too, some kind of a rubberized material. And but let's pull this one off and take a look at it and see how bad the damage is. Yeah, there's another notch right there. Alright, we'll try some epoxy, 5-minute epoxy, see if that does any good. And that's sandable, so we can do the same with this one. Get this on rewind so it gets off that reel. There's some other little bumps here, but for a voice recorder, this will be fine. In fact, even with this bump here, it would be fine for voice because you're not going to hear that bump on a voice recorder. But the rewind isn't working, so let's see if I have another one of these in stock here. Okay, put that on there. See, this should be tight against this inner drive right here, and like this one is big enough to touch both this motor and the inside of the take-up reel, or the drive wheel. Rewind. It's just too small. This is just too small. And that tire's in beautiful condition. That'll come in handy one of these days, but it's not going to help us tonight. So we're going to have to plug this hole. I don't really care how smooth the rewind tire is, but I've got to get that notch out because it just gets stuck right there and won't run. So we've got to fill that, even if it's not smooth, and it'll go chunk, chunk, chunk when it rewinds. But we don't care about the rewind noise. We're more concerned about the play. So we need to cover this one for sure and flatten it out. And then, so let's get some epoxy and let's do a little bit of work here. Okay, you can use any kind of stuff. This sets up in 4 minutes. I don't know how long you have to leave it. It's called JB Weld, and it's like steel apparently. So okay, we're going to let that dry really well. And then we will sand it off. Okay, we've got, let this dry for about an hour. So we're going to take some sanding blocks and just take a little bit of this off. I don't want to take too much of it off. To test it, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's going to be too hard. Okay. See if that will actually spin. Okay, it's clunking, but let's see if it'll actually turn this, because that glue is pretty hard. Okay, it's a little tight, and somebody bent this rewind function way down. Oops, there, fell off. This rewind tension is really tight, and they did that probably to so let's take some of that tension off. There, maybe that won't be quite as harsh. Okay, there we go. So it's clunking pretty good, but I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to rewind the tape, but we'll test that in just a second. And let's go ahead and sand down. Sand down the play. Alright, it's a little bit of a bump there. There's play. See the bump? So that's going to change the speed of the tape, but battery fell out again. Okay. Let's just put the tape in there. Alright, let's see if it's got enough strength to rewind. Both batteries still in? Yep. Nope. Not really. Right, so let's trade off a little more pressure. We took some of this pressure off right here. Let's put some of it back. Okay, I hope that's not too much. And let's see if we get it to rewind now. Okay. Now what's happening is that tire is so hard, that rubber is so hard, that the motor's just spinning on that hard rubber. And you remember that one of the fixes that we've done so many times before is to put a piece of heat shrink on the shaft of the motor. So let's do that. I'm going to turn on the hot air gun. It's going to be really loud. We'll take a piece of heat shrink and we'll turn the motor on. Okay. Alrighty. That's pretty tight. Let's just see. Changes the pitch on the playback a little bit, but again, we're not working with high precision equipment, right? Batteries are in. Sorry about that. heat gun takes a while to cool off. Okay. Rewind. How's that? Makes a big difference, doesn't it? Alright, rewind. Got a little bit of a clunk in there, but as you can see, okay, so that's working. That's just a very brief overview of how to do some of these repairs on some of these really super cheap tape recorders. It's clearly not a high-end tape deck, and so you don't want to waste a lot of waste a lot of time. I mean, there's just so much you can do on these repairs, and I've done so many of them that really this is you might consider this a successful repair. We got the audio working after replacing the caps, and we got the tires gripping a little better and oiled everything up, and so we will put it all back together, put these E-rings back on here. There we go. Okay, all that's been oiled. And we need to clean the head and demagnetize it, although I don't think it's going to make any difference in the terms of the quality of the audio. We would do that as part of the regular repair. So let's put this all back in its case, put the cover back on, and we'll do a little bit of recording just for fun. But you can see the little piece of heat shrink there that solved our rewind grip problem on this hardened tire. And so that's a little trick that you'll see on the internet. Somebody long ago invented that idea. It wasn't mine. Alright, let's put it back together and see what it sounds like. Alright, well, we got it put back together and cleaned it up a little bit, and I demagnetized or erased the tape that didn't have anything of any real value on it, and so it's pretty quiet now. You just barely hear the amplifier with the volume turned all the way up. And so let's just do a little bit of recording here to set the volume level where they recommend it. Well, here we go. We are recording on the Mayfair 4-transistor model TR-65 Mayfair reel-to-reel tape recorder, manufactured in 1963, circa 1963. It has a variable speed control to accommodate different tapes from machine to machine, but it basically runs at 3 3/4 inch per second. We're now recording on the microphone, the built-in microphone slash speaker, and we did a brief repair. We replaced 3 capacitors on the tape recorder and did a cleanup and did some repair on the tires. So the tires are not 100%, but they're perfectly adequate for recording speech. We won't attempt to record music on this unit. The quality of the tape is pretty poor. It's pretty old, and I don't even want to embarrass myself to try to play some music on this tape recorder. It was really not designed for that to begin with. So let's rewind this and listen to a little bit of our recording, and then we will wrap this Mayfair TR-65 model TR-65 4-transistor reel-to-reel tape recorder.
microphone slash speaker. And we did a brief repair. We replaced 3 capacitors on the tape recorder and did a clean up and did some repair on the tires. So the tires are not 100%, but they're perfectly adequate for recording speech. We won't attempt to record music on this unit. The quality of the tape is pretty poor. It's pretty old, and I don't even want to embarrass myself to try to play some music on this tape recorder. It was really not designed for that to begin with. So,
All right, there we have it. Hope you enjoyed this short repair video of the Mayfair TR-65 reel-to-reel tape recorder.